You're on.
Hi, it's George. Welcome back. I'd like to take you through a quick walkthrough of the solar setup we have here. This is powering the bilge pump that goes to our supply line over there. And that's my cameraman's phone going off. Cameraman Jay. You want to meet your phone man? Anyway, this is a solar panel that's powering a bilge pump that goes and cycles our water through the hydroponics system just over there. So basically, I built a frame. This is just built out of 2x4s, so real nice 2x4s and decking screws. I'm not a master carpenter and don't claim to be, and probably never will be. But this is my quick attempt at building at least a decent frame for a solar panel. The solar panel here is mounted on a piece of plywood. It's about, I think it's a 1/4 inch thick here. That's either 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch thick, and it's painted white. I painted it white to reflect the sunlight off it and kind of keep this thing a little bit cooler than if it was painted some other color. It's adjustable. This is another 1/4 inch piece of plywood I cut and mounted to the actual frame here. And if I pull out the screw, one thing, these aren't stainless, so they may rust, but I'll deal with that when the time comes. But this allows me to tilt the panel and follow the sun throughout the day. And actually, I'm going to tilt it now so we're getting more sunlight that direction. And I just pop the screw back in here, and it locks the panel in place. Panel again, I got this off Amazon. It was around Christmas time. Amazon had some lightning deals on solar panels. This is a 15-watt panel. It came with a solar charge controller and some other wiring harness and what have you. I think the panel at that time was $50 or $60. I had originally bought it to power some ham radio equipment, but I hadn't gone forward with that project yet, so I decided to put it to use here. It used a this is a I forget what these are called. Jay.
Thread rod.
Thread rod. This is a 1/2 inch thread rod. It goes the whole way through the back of the panel here. I'll tilt that up and kind of see that. I had this is just a piece of hose I had laying around that I kind of put over the thread rod to protect it from the elements. 1/2 inch bolt and washers there to kind of make this easy to pivot. So the solar panel is mounted about 1 inch above the board here because it can get hot when it's charging. So this allows airflow through here. I used, I think these are 3-inch machine screws with, I just made some plastic washers here with some plastic head laying around, and they're mounted on with a PVC, 1/2 inch PVC pipe to make the standoffs here. There's 6 of those standoffs, 2 on each end, and then there's 2 in the center of the panel just to give it some support. You might be able to see that down right about in here. This project probably took me longer than I wanted it to build the frame anyway. The frame was probably the most time consuming. But again, I'm not a master carpenter or anything, and I think I did okay building that. Over to our charging station here. The noise you hear in the background is our air pump, but this is the charging station here. So I got a kind of a watertight outlet cover from Home Depot, and I mounted it to the bucket here. This gives us access to the timer that's in here, and this is glued on here with silicone. I need to put more silicone around it because I did find a little bit of water getting into the bucket, so I want to put a silicone bead around it. This timer follows the same watering pattern as the electric timer that I have going in here, so it waters at 7 a.m., 1 p.m., and then 7 p.m. This timer I got off of Amazon. It's a 12-volt timer. it was probably about $15 or so. Pretty neat timer. It's very similar to the one I actually have that's running the 110 outlet here. But you need to get a 12-volt timer. Okay. It goes in here in the back. You'll see our hook up here. Jay, our cameraman, did the wiring here. And it's all fuse protected. Down here you'll see there's a solar charge controller. We got that off of Amazon as well. I did not use the one that came with the solar panel because it didn't have the capability of powering a load. It only charged the battery and had the solar hookup on it. I guess I could have just hooked up off the battery, but I didn't want to drain the battery completely, and the charge controller helps prevent that. Down here is just a 20 amp hour battery we had laying around from, I forget whatever application it was, but weren't using it. It was probably going to a ham radio equipment setup anyway. So 12 volts, 12 volt battery there. Goes to our charge controller. The timer hooks up everything here. The timer came with a good wiring diagram. I'm not the best at following wiring diagrams, so Jay wired this up and did a really nice job with the heat shrink tubing and what have you. We put it in a bucket. I like the buckets because they seem to be pretty watertight, and they're relatively inexpensive for what we're trying to do here. We're trying to keep costs low. You know, some of this stuff was a little bit more than we wanted to spend on it, but the buckets are pretty convenient, and they can hold multiple batteries if you want to put multiple batteries in there. It's a 20 amp hour battery. The pump, I believe, draws about an amp, so you get about 20 hours out of a battery if you had zero sunlight to charge it. So that's more than enough for a few days worth to keep water cycling through the system. And if you ever did go without power for whatever reason, you can manually water the plants. It's not that big of a deal. It's a little time consuming, but you can manually do it if you're without power for whatever reason. So that's our solar setup. Thanks for your time. Thanks for watching.